everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week, we are discussing A Bride's Tale, or if you look in the title, you can see the Japanese word for it. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I'll butcher it, and I'm going to do that enough on this podcast that I don't feel like starting with it. So, we're reading A Bride's Tale, volumes 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 17. I am Erin of Happily Erin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts, as well as a very special guest, and we're going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, please. Starting with Dodger.
Everybody, I'm Dodger, and I love this manga, so let's talk about it.
Great.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Lou, and I also love this manga. And let's talk about tit.
Wink, wink.
Wink, 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 wink. And our lovely guest.
Go.
No, you go. I already said my name.
Okay. Hi, I'm Thalia, and I also like this manga, obviously.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about it? Are you in the camp that wants to talk about this manga?
Oh yeah.
Good.
No.
Good.
Goodbye, everyone.
I'll go to bed. Thanks.
She just turns her camera off, drops out of the Skype call, and the whole thing just gets messed up. All the time and effort I put into the layout just goes to poop.
It's just all gone.
Well, hello everybody. If you've never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary, and that will be read by our lovely guest, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. That way, when we get to spoiler section, if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't have to. You can take your leave, go read the manga, and come back and watch the VOD of this on youtube.com/happilyerin, where all of the previous manga pods are hosted. We do ask, I don't know why I took that weird pause there.
They're all
hosted. Wink, wink. We do ask that you guys do not spoil anything until we get to the spoiler section, and then after we get there, you don't spoil anything past what we read, aka chapter 17. You will be timed out, warned, banned, all of that not so fun stuff. Also, don't post fake spoilers because we don't know necessarily if they're real or not real, so please don't do that. We call people who spoil things rotten bacon butts. I looked right into my light bulb and I'm like...
It looked like you were trying to wink you, but while talking about rotten bacon butts, and I was like, that's
a rotten bacon
butt.
But
I'll support you. Wink.
All right, spoiler-free description. Thalia, if you don't mind.
Bride's story tells the tale of a beautiful young bride in 19th century Asia. At the age of 20, Amir is sent to a neighboring town to be wed, but her surprise at learning her new husband, Karluk, is 8 years younger than her, is quickly replaced by a deep affection for the boy and his family. Though she hails from just beyond the mountains, Amir's clan had very different customs, foods, and clothes from what Karluk is used to. As the two of them learn more about each other through their day-to-day lives, the bond of respect and love grows stronger.
Wink. All right, thank you. How about some spoiler-free recommendations? What do you guys feel like telling people before they're not spoiled about this manga?
I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
Really
I mean, what more is there to
historical.
say, right?
Yeah. I mean, if people know Soridemo Sekai wa Utsukushi or The World is Still Beautiful from 2 years ago, it's very similar to that anime. So if you know that, you know how it's kind of gonna go, I guess.
Yeah, I really loved it. I love like a combination of a historical manga with beautiful art is like I'm in. I'm jazzed. I love it. And I liked that it covered a cultural side that we don't see very often in manga, and I thought it was a sweet, great story, and I am so upset about where we stopped because I wanted to read more.
Yeah.
am also very upset about where we stop. And I agree. I think it was very sweet. Felt very mature. It's a very mature manga. Not in the term of like it needs like a trigger warning or anything like that. It's just like more of an adult relationship and story. So I definitely recommend it if you're looking for historical romance in any way, shape, or form. The art, like they said, art is gorgeous. I did have some scruples with some of the character designs. They got confusing at some points where some of the girls looked very similar to all the other girls.
Yeah.
But everything else, the culture, everything was really great. So I highly recommend it.
I also highly recommend this. I enjoyed reading it so much, and it was such an easy read.
Yeah.
Like,
It flew by.
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's just the way the story was paced and how genuine the characters felt, and there wasn't any of those big hammy plot twist or anything. It just felt like a very real and grounded story, and it was a very much welcome change of pace from what we normally read on here. So I definitely recommend reading this manga. It was Otoyomegatari. Is real good, guys. Go read it.
Check it out. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if it sounds like something you're interested in, you don't want to be spoiled on it, we are going to now jump into spoilers section. So you should take your leave. And like I said before, go and read it. You can come back and join in on the conversation at a different time once this goes live right after the show. So you don't have to wait very long. So let's jump into spoilers section. Countdown, please, Winku.
Winku. Winku. Winku. Winku. Winku.
Amira's God?
Boobies!
She's great.
She's pretty great. Boobs are God. The boobs are God.
Boobs are God.
Yeah.
For being real, boobs are God. Yeah, there was like... Okay, well, I'll save it. What are you guys
Save the titty talk for
saving
later.
the titty talk for after we
Let's
get
talk
past the
about
first
titties now.
question.
Yeah.
First question. And then we can get to the tits. What are your guys' expectations before reading this manga? That's the question we tend to ask when we start doing spoiler discussions. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Go for it.
All right. I get recommended a lot of seinen series, and I tend to push for those recommendations to be more, I guess, slice of lifey in a way, and or unconventional. And there are two that get brought up a lot. The first one being Ancient Magus Bride, which is later in the schedule, which I'm looking forward to. The second one, which has come up a lot in the past year, is this manga. So my expectations going into this were pretty high. Like I was constantly hearing about how amazing the art was, and that the story is just it's really engaging. And so I went into it with this mindset that I go in every other manga, where I'm expecting, all right, well, there's going to be these major plot twists and these outlandish characters that have, in a seinen story, as zany of a experience as you can, like within the context of that demographic or that intended demographic. And I got some of those things, but I did not expect it to be as real as it was. Like I felt like this could very easily be adapted into a live action film, and it would be just as good. Like I don't know. It was just so interesting. And I will say though, I'm glad that I'm getting this experience with the story in manga form because of all the detail that went into the art, which I mean we talk about art later, but it was mind blowing because of all the detail that went into like the patterns on the tapestries that they would have just thrown about.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like if it had been done by a different mangaka, if it was somebody who wasn't going to put as much detail into that, you would have lost so much. I feel like flourish is the wrong word, but it like added so much to the story to see like the patterns and have entire stories, like entire chapters about like the patterns and about the food, and like see that detail there was awesome. I would say my expectations, number one, was that I didn't expect it to have like some more episodic elements to it. Like sometimes there were a lot of chapters where it was like, here's this story, and then the next chapter is like this story, you know. I was cool with it. I just didn't expect it. And the other thing was that I thought there was going to be sort of tense moments in like more of like a weird uneasiness between the main couple at the beginning of the story. And there wasn't. It just, for the most part, was just like this really sweet, lovely relationship between two lovely people. And I was just like, I love you guys. Like, it's just, every time it was just those two together, I was like, oh, they love each other. Like,
They're so sweet.
I don't know. And I think to somebody who hasn't read this yet, hearing like it's a story about a 20-year-old woman and a 12-year-old boy, I think it winds up sounding like really creepy, right? But like, because they do so much to flesh out the world and the culture and everything, it doesn't feel weird. It just feels like this is how it is, and they're together and they are really like, they love each other, and you're like, I'm so glad they found happiness. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. I wasn't expecting it to be as episodic, and I also wasn't expecting it to focus on other brides other than Amir. I thought it was going to be only about Amir, and like when they started getting into her whole clan wanting her back and that whole episode, I was like, oh, this is where it's going to go. I thought it was going to get bloody. I thought it was going to be lots of fighting happening. And then it turned out, went back to nice and sweet and homely. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool with this.
I mean,
so it was like what you were saying about the plot twist. I was expecting so much more of that. But I do like just the gentle, nice story that we got too. So there was a lot. And I had never heard of this manga before last week, before I read the description. I never heard of it. And so I went into it with absolutely no real expectations, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, and then Lou and I were putting together the schedule, and he was like, just flip through the first chapter. And I was flipping through it, and I was like, this is fucking gorgeous. Like, this is amazing looking. So I was really excited to read it.
Yeah. I agree with all of you. Like, I didn't expect it to be episodic at all either. I don't know, from seeing how it looked on my anime list, I didn't think the art would be that detailed, and just like, and I didn't think they would be that detailed as well about the whole culture, because I thought they would more focus just about the relationships and the characters, but they actually just focused on so much like food and like how they live and how they get married and how they just are back then, and how it is to actually have a foreigner there with them as well, like how they treat that kind of guy. That was interesting to see. Yeah, I like that they also put like someone in there that doesn't really belong there, so we can see how his perspective was, just like how we would see it. So I thought that was really interesting to see, and I also didn't expect them to get into other characters like we had with Smith. Like, I didn't expect that at all. That came out of nowhere for me, because I was like, wait, where's our main couple? Because I want to see them back, because you started to love them and you get invested in them, and then they just go to another character and you're like, oh okay, I guess I'll just love this guy now then. So it just kind of goes that way, but you do love that guy. So they're really good in like introducing characters and making you like respect them for what they do in the manga. But I didn't expect it to be this good. Like, it was so addicting to read. It went so fast as well, and I could understand everything perfectly as well, like what was going on. So I completely loved it. I didn't think I would like it that much, and I haven't heard of it before either. It was my first time, so
I never expected to enjoy a chapter entirely dedicated to fabric. I never thought I would read a manga that had that, and I was like, this is so interesting. I just want to look at these fabrics forever, and can I fabric?
It looks so
can
beautiful.
I do this?
Can I fabric?
Right? Yeah, I thought that that whole chapter about the younger daughter, like, learning the patterns of, like, the previous generations was so cool. I was like, oh man, that's such an interesting, like, that chapter wound up being really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
And I like how that chapter also factored into the world building, because even though it was very episodic in places, it wasn't episodic for the sake of being episodic. Like everything contributed to our understanding of the culture, the role of women and men in their society, the expectations, and how they ultimately factor into each other's survival. So like towards the end of the story, we see the poor girl that was widowed
yeah.
5 times. Her
Yeah.
her
Oh
and
my
her
gosh.
mother-in-law, like just having to go through so much and viewing it through Smith's eyes of seeing all the work they need to do just to survive.
Mhm.
You know, so I don't know. I just think all of this, plus what the world building that we got earlier, like it did a lot for me to really put a spotlight on the female characters in this manga.
Mhm.
And we are starting to see what the major conflict, if there's going to be one, what it's going to be about, because like you were saying, you know, nothing is mentioned for no reason, right? And we've had like multiple chapters now where they've said something about Russia.
Yeah.
And we still don't like really have a good idea of what's even going on, like how that factors in. But it's been like really, it's been sprinkled in a really good way where you're like, okay, something's happening. Like Russia's here somewhere. Something's going on. There is
Damn it,
unrest.
Yoku.
That's where Yoku is.
Oh my god, Yoku!
Yoku's gonna pop up in the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep foreshadowing Russia, and I'm very interested. And now the fact that we're with Smith, or like the chapter we ended on was with Smith, and so I'm very interested to see if we stay with him or if that's like the pause in his arc, and we go back to like Amir and Kalik. Yeah, if we go back to them two and Amir's entire tribe. But yeah, like things get foreshadowed, and I'm very interested because like the pacing of the manga is very good too. Like Lou said, it's very easy. It's very easy to read through, but you're not feeling like you're missing any details. And it doesn't feel exposition heavy either. Like everything you get is delivered in a very pleasant way to read, where you're not feeling bogged down by all the details of the world. It's just given to you at the right moments. And it's just building the world, and it's just such an interesting world that it's building too. Just all the little details of everything. We can get to that later.
I was gonna say that the other thing that I appreciated is that because we've had so many chapters where they've taught us a little bit about like culturally what's going on. I kind of liked that the chapter we left off on, this isn't the sort of manga where you're convinced that he's ever going to see her again, you know? Yeah. And I think that was like something that made it really hard about stopping there was just being like, with that kind of a drop off, like I'm not convinced that he's ever going to see her again, because so much of this manga is about just like this is how life goes, right? And sometimes it's beautiful and wonderful and you wind up with somebody fantastic, and sometimes life just like rips you from somebody, and like that's how it is, you know? And I'm just like, oh my god, like I hope Mr. Smith is happy, I hope that girl is happy, you know?
Yeah, the fact
I don't want them to be together, I just
want them happy in their respective life. The way that he throws away the watch, I think, is very symbolic of kind of that he's like leaving that, not leaving it behind, like not that he's never gonna like think about
hoping she will find it,
but yeah, like just he's kind of letting go of it, I think, just because I dropped
just realizing that culturally there isn't really much he can do. Like this isn't his world, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I wish they would have done, because I love that little arc. I love Smith, the story of Smith and I forget her name. I feel so bad.
Tallis.
Right.
I have it open in a tab.
Yeah,
I was like
Thalia.
panicking because I was like, I just looked this up so I could sound smart.
So like I love that arc. I just kind of wish they would have done more to show the interest that he's taking in her.
Yeah.
Because like it's a whole concept of marriage, and he's showing that he's genuinely considering it. Like when they encounter the snake, he's like he's out in the plains by himself, contemplating this whole the or what that lady asked of him, to marry her after having just recently met her. So like I would have been more interested to see a little bit more build up to his rationale of saying, yeah, let's go for it.
I don't really think he had time for that though, because everything went way too fast that he didn't even have time himself to think about what was happening and what was going on. Because you kept seeing those I love how they portray him just thinking about stuff as well, where he's thinking like, is this right? What should I do? Like, this is like weird, because he never thought this would happen to him, obviously. So I think he just kind of got convinced because how brave she was and how much work she put into her life and all of that stuff. And then when she knew that, she could end up alone, and she's like, I'll be fine. Like, I mean, it will be hard, but I'll be fine. He was like, okay, well, she does need someone to take care of her, so I'd be happy to do that. But I feel like himself isn't 100% convinced yet, but because he had to say goodbye, he's like, oh shit, am I missing out? Like, he's like really thinking about it. So I don't know, I think he just didn't really have the time to like realize what was going on at the time, because it went so fast.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that.
It would be hard to like show that, how he would think about how they kind of showed you, but I think it would be hard for me myself as well, like to explain that feeling and like explain what he's going through at the moment.
And I think there was like a rush of adrenaline too, where all of this stuff was happening. This girl said he loved her. She loved him, and he's like, no, I can't do that. But then he saw the state she was in, and he's obviously one of those people that does like care a lot about people. And so I think he saw like how desperate she was and what was going on, and he's like, okay, maybe I should help this girl. And so he just had to have so much adrenaline happening that he just was overwhelmed with everything that was going on. Poor Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of want to like, because I saw in the YouTube comments, like, can we talk about the age cap? Because I kind of wanted to talk about that too. About
for sure.
Because like with Smith and the other girl, it doesn't seem like they're too far apart to me, but we don't really know how old she is, do we? Like, we know she's married a few times, but we don't really know her exact age, I think. But for like the normal couple that's like 8 years apart, like the main couple, I thought they just presented that very naturally. Like, it was just normal in that age for that to happen, because they explain multiple times how marriage works there. So because of that, I thought it was kind of normal, but then we hit that scene with the boobies and stuff and how she wanted to like lay closer to him and be closer to him. I do have to admit, I was like, this is some anime manga shit right here. Like, I wasn't really too sure, but then how they were connecting and how the guy was acting, it was very natural and how he should react. So I thought that was really good how they portrayed that, how they got closer to each other. And that whole scene where they were like tickling each other and then falling asleep together. That was one of my favorite moments, where I saw that the guy actually really, really liked the girl as well. Although she's like sometimes tougher than him because she kills animals like there's no one else. And she's really badass, but still I feel like they fit really well, and I think that's why I can like overlook the age gap, because also it was normal back then, so it kind of like matches up that way.
I was gonna say, Lucas.
It's okay. No, go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was gonna say, I enjoyed the fact that they made the husband awkward, that he wasn't just super confident in sex and sexuality. He was like a 12-year-old kid who just hitting puberty, just going through that. Like, he's
Yeah.
obvious. I was very happy he wasn't portrayed as like knowing all about it and had all these like suave words and moves with the ladies. Like, he was just this 12-year-old kid who's like, I got married and now I'm a husband, but I don't know what I'm doing. And so I really enjoyed the buildup of their relationship from like what we got to see, and that she is older, so she's a little bit more confident in her sexuality and who she is. And so it was just it felt very refreshing, his character did. And he's just such a nice like dude. I was just like, you guys are so cute.
Well, yeah. What I was gonna say is that I like that the one way that the age gap like assisted the story was that she's helping him grow in a lot of ways. Like, there were multiple times where he was like, I'm her husband and I have to like be there for her, you know, and like watching him sort of take on these roles of like, I need to be her partner. Like, I'm 12, but I need to basically, you know, act like I'm not, because I'm her partner. Like, I have to do these things and I have to assume these responsibilities. And I liked all of the chapters that sort of touched on that. But there were definitely chapters where she sort of, instead of being more of a partner and a wife, wound up acting more like a mom. Yeah. And I liked the way that was portrayed too, because he would always get really awkward. Like he always felt super weird about it, and she would like fuss over him like a mom, because it's just like, don't.
Like when he was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he was going to die. I thought he was going to die. I was like, I love you so much. Oh, yeah. The whole time I was like, oh, his fever's going to get worse. He's going to die. Something's going to happen with the clan. She's going to have to go back to them, but they won't let her go. Maybe she'll marry another brother.
I never thought he was going to die.
Was the
whole time.
The grandma was like, it's okay.
Yeah, but I was like, maybe she's just saying that.
Yeah.
He's going to die. I was 100% convinced. I also thought he was going to die when the clan came and like raided and came to take her back, and he stabbed the dude.
Like jumped in the tree to stab.
I was like, oh, you're dead. Yeah. You're dead. I guess I just don't have much hope for him. I'm like, I love him so much. I love him so much that I'm just assuming he's going to die, and I fear for the future. It's been such a nice story so far, but it's historical, and you know what happens in historical stuff? People die.
People die.
They're killed. Yeah.
I thought what was going to happen in that scene when they were getting raided, because he was told explicitly, like, don't leave your wife alone. And then, like, when that guy came to grab her, she was all alone. And I was like, oh, fuck, you know what's going to happen is they're going to take her and they're going to run away, and it's going to be all his fault. And then it's going to be, like, a story of redemption where he has to, like, sack up and go find his wife. And he just, like, showed up and was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yay, good job, boy.
And then he fell off, and the other dude came in, and he's just like, guy's down there. The guy's down on the ground.
What I like about that scene, more than anything, like, yeah, you know, it shows that he's a little badass that's willing to put his life on the line for his wife. That's great. I love that part. My favorite part of that scene is the aftermath, with how shy and how reserved she becomes after having been protected by her husband. And just how that really, I guess, she saw him, like, she legitimately saw him as a man from that point forward. And I think it was
the first time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's when, that, I guess, or actual romantic love started to take root within them, you know? So, I don't know, I thought it was great.
It was a very important scene to happen in the manga. I do have to say, I was really confused with the brothers because they look so alike. I was like,
oh my god,
who are you?
Yeah.
They all look,
but
all of the women, like when Smith got to the one village and saw Talis for the first time, I was like, what's Amir doing here? I was very confused. Is this the backstory where he met her for the first time?
Well, it's just because you can't really see their hair for like the girls as well, and it's confusing, except for like the best friend of Amir now, like what's her name?
Pariah? Is that her name?
Pariah? Yeah, I love her. I love her.
I love her.
Oh, she's the best girl for me, but I do think she needed more time. Like, I wanted to see more about her because you only got like 1 or 2 chapters maybe.
Yeah, I hope she gets a story arc. I'm sure she will.
I do too.
I think so, because they kind of like touched on her at the end as well, because they want someone wanted her to marry someone else. And
Yeah.
she was like,
Yeah.
like,
Oh
she
my God,
kinda
they were
wants
so
to.
cute. That kid was
Yeah.
drawn so handsome. I was like, oh, I'd
I
marry
know.
him.
Aaron,
Yeah,
we need to have a conversation. This isn't the first time you comment on how attractive young children are.
I don't know how old he is. I thought he was like 18. Is he not 18? If he's not 18, I
know.
retract my comment.
I mean,
but
we
I
don't
thought
know.
he was
We
like
saw
18.
him like twice.
I thought he was like 18. So
I assumed that he was like 19.
Yeah.
So
Lou, but I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from because it's true. But that part's
because
not true.
I did put Killua on my Respondo list.
That's exactly why I brought it up.
But Killua was awesome. Whatever. I'm not getting into this. It's fine. I can't dig myself out of that hole. I'm just gonna leave it. You guys want to talk about titties?
Sure. Is there anything else to say about titties
Not really.
at this point?
They were very.
Sure.
I was.
they would be there.
I didn't know that was gonna. Yeah, I didn't know they were gonna be there. I was like, oh hey, I loved. Okay, I'm actually gonna get a little bit in depth with the titties. I loved how Amir's like body was drawn and that she wasn't just a stick figure.
Yeah.
I love that she had like curves and was voluptuous, and I went, that is so accurate for like that time period and like who she would like the clan she comes from, how she can fight and like hunt and all of that. I was like, yes, cool, good.
Yeah.
I thought she was drawn very what's the word
Thick with two
Elegant.
C's.
I don't know, there's a word I can't think of.
Thick with two C's.
What? Oh, thick. I thought you said
Thick.
I thought you said fake with two C's, and I was like,
I thought he said dick with two C's, so don't worry. None of us were on the same page.
I need to learn how to enunciate better.
Amir, dick with two C's.
Man, the
Winku.
dick with two C's. Dink, dink,
Dink,
dink.
dink. Yeah, no, there's not really too much to say other than that. I'm trying to think.
I know.
Yes.
You know, where she gets to know Paria, or what? I always forget her name. Sorry. But we see that the main character is actually not that loved by everyone because they were laughing at her.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really surprising because I thought like, oh, everyone seems to love her in this city, so
Yeah.
she must be praised by everyone. And then you actually see that some of them don't have respect for her and they just laugh at her because she randomly starts singing, and okay, yeah, she is a little bit off than like from other people, I guess, because she comes from a completely different kingdom as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, she needs to adjust. But I just love how their connection was, how Paria was like, I'll be your friend. Like, people don't laugh at her and like defending her and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cute to see.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like that showed the cultural difference between them, like her and everyone else. I thought that really made, because you were right. I was like, wow, she's fitting in really well here for being like a newbie. And so I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't just like everybody was head over heels in love with her. It was she's an outsider. She married in, but she's not one of us yet.
She's still a little weird, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite chapters that showed me like the level of detail in terms of clothing was pretty early on, the one where she made like the little jacket for her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like very obviously a different style of clothing, right? And like later on in other chapters when we saw the rest of her family, we were like, holy shit, that was like the style of clothing that she made for her husband. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that we had a little bit in that chapter as well of, you know, the mother-in-law being like, oh, I got that fabric for you. And her being like, oh no, because my clothes are awful because I smell. What did I do?
Run naked.
I was like, oh honey, no, you're fine. It's just so you can make new clothes for yourself.
Aww. Yeah.
Oh, she's so sweet. I thought actually that she would be like when I started reading it, I thought it would be kind of like Akatsuki no Yona kind of ish, or like Shirayuki, where the girl is like really badass but actually goes into fights and all that stuff. So I thought it would go more that way. Actually, I didn't think like this manga would stay more chill, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
like
Same.
into like how the kingdom was working. But I do like the fact a lot that she is like really badass and how she just randomly kills animals to have
Yeah.
food, and she can just
Yeah.
provide stuff for herself without any problem. So it kind of gives him like, I don't know. I think he just really wants to get better because of that, because he's like, whoa, okay, she's doing this. Like, she would be fine without me. I need to do something. Like, I really like that she is badass, that she's not just like a spoiled kid that got into there and just marries off a guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also that we don't need to see her go to war to know that she's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
exactly.
need to see her fighting. We know
Like
that
they-
she's like really capable and
Mhm.
Like they established that really early on when she goes to hunt the rabbits.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
And like also her mentioning that she's also hunted wolves. Like it's just a small
yeah.
line of dialogue where she's like, "Oh, if it's a wolf, we just need more people here, but we'll handle it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, what did you guys think about Amir's clan? Like her brothers and uncle and stuff?
They're
I mean,
assholes.
we haven't had any opportunity to see them in a good light. Like
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
the only
Except for,
time
like,
we
the grandma, I think,
Yeah.
when he was sick, and that's about it, I think.
No, the people that came to take Amir away. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
dude, that
okay,
grandma's
Amir.
badass though. We can get
Yeah,
back to her.
grandma's great.
But yeah,
I
their
don't
whole
know.
yeah, they haven't. I was still very like, why did she go get married if y'all are just like, well, doesn't have baby yet, so we kind of want her back. Like,
just because they could get more out of it. if
yeah,
she married
because she
someone
lost
else.
her sister, the other daughters passed away or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that was so fucked up too that like it was revealed later that they died because they were beaten to death. I was like, hell no, I would not
Yeah.
send my daughter out there. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, these people are nuts.
Yeah.
What?
It's like your daughter
That's
is in
how
a
the grandma
really great place. Yeah.
With people who
Mm.
love her and are willing to fight for her. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Did not approve.
I don't
did
know.
Not approve.
We didn't really have so much like information about her family, I feel like, but we had enough information to confirm that they're bad, and we just don't want to see them. So.
Yeah. The brothers seem to like the older brother especially. I'm trying to figure out his character, like his whole like, is he support Amir and wants her to be happy, or is he just like, I have to follow my
Yeah.
clansmen? Like
It's
he
kind
was
of
very
confusing.
yeah.
Because at one point it does seem like one of the brothers is like, I do want her to be happy. Maybe we should not take her or something. Like it kind of comes off that way. So I have no idea what to think. It's confusing.
Yeah, and after that, the eldest brother, when he's like trying to hold off everybody else with his bow and arrow, he like specifically doesn't shoot anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like you guys aren't bad. You're just you're too like dedicated to the people that run your clan, like to the point that you're willing to do terrible stuff,
Yeah.
And that makes me sad.
I mean, they just lost their sister, so I mean.
No, and they're totally acting like, oh, we're being forced to do this, but we kind of acknowledge that it's kind of a dick move, but we kind of have to do it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I still dislike them. Like the mangaka accomplished the goal of, these guys are assholes.
Yeah.
But, I could totally see them being redeemed at one point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they will come back. Like you mentioned with the whole Russia thing, I think if they do go into war, they will probably end up helping them, like their clan out, probably because of her being there. I think it will be something like that. Like you can clearly see they're not bad, but I don't know. We need more information. Maybe there will be a chapter about them or something later on.
Yeah. Maybe the reason I keep thinking horrible things are gonna happen is I got like the same like historical vibes that I get from Game of Thrones. And so maybe that's why. I just keep thinking it's gonna Game of Thrones this shit. And I'm like, please no.
Aaron, it's totally just lulling you into a false sense of security, and then everyone is gonna die.
Oh, I would not be surprised. I bet that will happen. Oh, there was something I wanted to
I've got
touch on.
I've got something else.
Yeah.
I like the part with the kid that goes to the old guy every time
Yeah, me
to
too.
like help him with his art, or I don't know what it was, engraving stuff that he was doing,
Yeah,
something like that. But
carpentry.
yeah, but that was really pretty, and I really liked how the art was in that chapter as well. But I also liked how they showed us how the kids were living back then. Like they had to do their chores, and if they didn't do it, they couldn't get any food, or they get blamed for a lot of stuff, although they weren't doing anything wrong. But then again, the mom wasn't really looking for him either, like throughout the whole day. Like he was just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like how he could connect with like the grandpa, I guess, and he could just like talk and chill with him and eat stuff with him. That was a really heartwarming story.
I had a major, like, I feel ya, mom moment when the mom was like, go to your room, you're not eating supper because you didn't do your chore. And then later she's like, Amir, go and give him some food because I don't want him to starve. I was so like, I understand. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously he's not going to starve, but at the same time, you're still just like, but he has to eat because he could die.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how Amir reacted as well in that situation for like the second time. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I told you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that she's like, you told me to do it once, and that's all I'm gonna do. And the mom's like, what?
Yeah.
And more importantly, she told the little boy she was only gonna do it once. She's like, I said to him just this once. I can't do it again. At the end.
Yep. Should we touch on the art? I know we've kind of like talked about it here and there, but I want to hear your guys' like full out thoughts about it before we wrap up and give final thoughts and ratings. So.
It's so beautiful and detailed.
Beautiful.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like in the beginning when you see her earrings that had so much detail, and like the collar around her neck and stuff, because you actually have a lot of panels that are only like without text or anything, that's just like drawings, and they look so beautiful, and it's so detailed and nice. I do have to say it's not always like that, but when they are actually talking about stuff like the fabric or the other art that they do, they show you very well how it is.
So pretty. God, I was like the food chapter, the chapter was like solely dedicated to food.
Oh my god,
I got
so hungry.
So hungry. Like it was just so intricate, and I loved how they explained different foods and they showed it being made and things like that. And so I just love that the art so contributed to like the culture and building the world building. Like it just felt so, I don't know. I agree. I was like, if any other mangaka had not spent as much time putting the detail into it, it would not have been as great of a read, because it's just that detail was so important to building the world that we saw and like experience. And I felt like there were times where I was like, I feel like I'm in this world because it's just so engaging and capturing. And so I really do love the character designs overall, even if I get confused by like the female characters sometimes. I still really enjoyed the character designs, like the hair and the eyes and the facial expressions, just everything that went into it. And the art made a lot of the moments when there was no dialogue that much more poignant, I thought. I think one of my favorite examples is the one where they, like, the first time we see them kiss. I loved that scene because like the art and the way that the mangaka does expressions and angles and all of that, I thought was just really great. So I just love this art.
Yeah, when there's so much detail, it kind of forces you to pay attention to it and go through everything slowly. And then, I loved those moments too, where it was like obviously a moment to take a breath, and there was so much to look at, and it was great. Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
You kind of touched on it earlier, Erin. In terms with the character designs, I would go as far as saying not just female characters, but a lot of the characters looked very similar. I get that the mangaka was going for a sense of community and making sure that, because there's this whole desolate area where they live far apart from each other, but there are local communities. And they went out of their way to illustrate several people in these communities, and a lot of them look very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, you could play it into, okay, well, I mean, how much genetic variety would there be in such isolated communities? But
Sure.
that aside, I mean, I would have expected a little bit more, like outside of the children. Like the children, you can easily tell them apart, but when it came to the adults, they all looked very similar.
Mhm.
So, I would have liked less characters and maybe more variety. And that's really the only critique I can really throw at the art, because everything else was extremely polished. Even some of the landscapes, like this is mostly a desert area, and some of these landscapes looked incredible. So
Mhm.
I really like the way this manga looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one question, Dodger.
Huh.
Were you sad when she shot the fox? Because when she shot the fox, I was like, oh no.
I was like, maybe she's not gonna go. Maybe she's gonna get the rabbits, and she's not
I
gonna
thought
shoot
she
the
would
fox.
too.
And then she got
actually
the
thought
fox,
of
and I
it.
was like, fuck.
Just wanted to ask you that because I did think about you when that happened. I was like, oh no.
I love them too much.
They're so sweet. Awesome. Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to touch on? Otherwise, we can final thoughts and ratings this. I feel like we talked about most
I'm good.
things.
I think so too. Yeah.
Read this manga.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, just
Please.
read it.
Okay.
Stuck around for spoiler section because you were like, I'll probably never read. Just read it, man.
Just
It's great.
Yeah.
Just read it, man.
Just read it.
Wink, wink, wink.
Oh, winku, winku, winku. That makes it seem like we're saying don't read it. It's like, go read it, wink.
Go read it. Or don't.
I'm so confused.
What does it mean?
I'm trying to think of a number rating for this. So if anybody has theirs and are ready to speak it,
I
feel free to
think I
take the
have
floor.
mine.
Hit it.
Because I kind of want to give it a 7. Although I really, really liked it, I feel like the biggest part is yet to come. Like the most important parts. This was mostly like build up for our main couple and what's gonna happen to Smith. I do have to admit, like the part with Smith made me want to like read a lot more because of how I connected I was with him. But I just feel like there's gonna be more parts where I will be like, oh, this is heartwarming, or oh, I didn't expect this to happen. So I'm just gonna give it a 7 for now.
I was gonna give it a higher rating. I was gonna say like an 8.5 because I just like really loved it. I enjoyed all of the time that I was reading it, and yeah, it did have some weak points, but like Thalia said, I think that it's building toward other stuff. So we're like setting the stage for a lot of this, like lots of informing us about the culture, about and it was still just so enjoyable to read, and I really love the main couple so much. So, and I wanted to read more. I wanted to read more so bad. So I would give it an 8.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to basically echo your score, Dodger. I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5, and for the same reasoning that Thalia provided. I feel like they are setting the stage for something even more grand that's going to involve these foreign powers and how these foreign entities will interact with these small communities. And we've been introduced to several small communities. We've been introduced to the uncle with his nomads, the trading post where Smith left off, Amir's family. So just seeing how all of this is going to come together in the bigger story, and I enjoyed it enough that I feel justified in giving it the 8.5, with the expectation that score is going to go up by a lot, because it's just that good. I really, really enjoyed this manga.
I feel bad giving it a 7 now.
No, Thalia,
Follow your heart,
you believe
Thalia.
in your score.
Follow your heart.
Stick to your guns.
I think I'm gonna give it an 8. Because I definitely enjoyed it, but I agree that I think there's more to come. But I think that what it's setting up has been done really well so far. I think all of the foreshadowing to whatever it is that's gonna happen has been really great. I love the characters and their interactions and the slow build and just everything about it I've really, really enjoyed. I'm just interested to see what else is going to happen. I think it's very solid beginning so far. I can't say it enough that I absolutely love the art. Just beyond amazing. The art is fantastic. So I
would give
definitely
the art an 8.5.
There, you did it, Thalia.
There. Did it. So we highly recommend that all of you guys go and check this one out. We will definitely be reading more of it in the future. I'm going to now read the description for the manga that we are reading next week. Hold on one second. No? Okay, fine. You don't get held by me, whatever. I don't remember if I said this, but you all in chat get to guess it. Okay. On his first day of transferring to a new high school, a loner named Moru Bunataru is cajoled by a classmate into climbing the school building. Despite knowing that one misstep could send him spiraling to his death, he moves forward, and upon reaching the top, Mori experiences a sense of fulfillment. That feeling, which seems to be telling him, "You're alive," gives birth to an adrenaline for rock climbing. I should have blanked, but I didn't. I just got too into
adrenaline for
Too late.
blank.
Blank.
Yep, it's Pokemon. Social mechanic. You got it.
It's Pokemon and Naruto at the same time.
It is also Battle Angel Alita.
It is.
Somebody
it's always
smash them all together.
always. What an interesting manga that would be.
Yeah, it would be bad.
Nah, it'd be great. I want to read the hell out of that.
Be horrible. I can't. Why is it not letting me see the English title? I'm like, what is the English title? I don't know. Has anybody gotten it yet? Other than its Battle Angel climbing addiction.
Yep, there it is. People are just saying rock climbing manga.
I mean, it's close enough. It's called. Oh wait, I'll give you 5 more seconds, chat. Oh, somebody on YouTube got it. Koku no Hito! Yay! Kizaru on YouTube got it. Koku no Hito, aka The Climber, is what we are reading next week. We're going to be reading volumes 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 31. I'm pretty stoked for that because I love me some sports, and it's also labeled as psychological and seinen, so I'm just going to freaking enjoy this manga so much. I'm claiming it.
I'm excited.
Ooh.
I really want to read this. I've heard great things.
I'm excited. I've never even heard about it till now, so I'm stoked to read it.
I haven't heard of it before. Yeah.
This is what happens when you mostly leave Lou in charge of making the entire schedule. Lou was like, Dodger, look at this first chapter. Looks dope, right? And I'd be like, does look dope. And he'd be like, excellent. And then we put it on the list. That was most of what
It makes me excited because I love reading manga I've never heard of before. I think it's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's go around and shout out our stuff super fast. I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel. I'm Weeb Trash. I'm also Overwatch Trash, which is kind of what I'm uploading right now. I uploaded some Overwatch gameplay if you want to go and check it out. It was super fun. I played with some friends and stuff. And if you want to find me on any other social media, I'm Happily Erin all across the everything. I mostly use Twitter and Instagram. If you want to come say hi, I like saying hi and stuff. So. Hi.
Hi. I'm Dodger. You might be watching this on my Twitch, twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. You can also find me on YouTube at youtube.com/presshearttocontinue. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus. I do anime and gaming stuff. If you follow me on Twitter, I just put up a video of me making lasagna soup in the slow cooker because people kept demanding to know what the fuck lasagna soup is. So you can go and watch that.
Oh my
I've never heard of
Dodger,
that.
link that to me, please.
It's
What?
ridiculous.
I want that
sure.
too.
Yeah, no problem. Here we go. Are you guys ready for literally the most casual video I think I've ever made?
Wait, it's on Twitter?
Lou, go for it. Yeah, it's like the last thing that I tweeted.
Oh my god, amazing.
My name's Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and I occasionally make anime-related content on YouTube at a channel called Lou Talks Anime. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram and other places, most of them being Lou Talks Anime. You'll find me. I talk a lot. Let's have a conversation. It's very exciting anime-related stuff, and I've been live tweeting this season a lot, like complaining about some things and praising others. Go watch Scum's Wish. That's my favorite thing this season so far. That's not Little Witch. Little Witch is the best thing this season. Okay.
Blue
I'm done.
Exorcist, Kyoto Saga, Blue Exorcist.
That's pretty great too.
I just love my Blue Exorcist.
Also, Dragon Maid is adorable.
Dragon Maid is great.
Dragon Maid
Look,
looks really
there's plenty of shitty shit, but there's some
Shitty
there's some
Shitty
good
shit.
stuff too.
Okay, my name is Thalia Lizette. I have a channel called Thalia Lizette as well, where I talk about anime, manga, K-pop, K-drama, games, and yeah, that's it, and all of that stuff. I also stream on Twitch, mostly Overwatch, because I'm an Overwatch hoe as well. So I really do like that. I'm probably gonna stream after this as well, because I'm awake now. So yeah, and mostly about that. I'm also going to Korea in March, where I will be vlogging in Korea about what they think about anime, what they think about everything. I'm just gonna ask them. I'll be teaching English there, so I will know plenty of people who speak English and Korean. So yeah, that will be fun. So if you're interested in that, feel free to subscribe. And thank you guys for having me on, because it was super fun.
Of course,
We always
thank
love having you on, Thalia.
You're
Always
always
great.
wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and I can't wait to have you back.
Yay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for waking up for us.
Okay, I went
Yeah.
to bed. I went to bed like at 10 or 11, and I woke up at 4, so I had a solid 5 hours sleep. So
That's
Solid
too
5.
bad.
Solid 5.
5 is fine.
Not
I'm
time,
fine
but-
with 5.
5 is enough. But thank you so much for coming on. We love you so much. We love having you, and I
I
can't
love you too,
wait to play more
Nicole.
Overwatch with you. It was so much fun.
Yay! Yeah.
And thank you all so much in chat who are watching this on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you so much for watching and joining us. If you're watching the VOD, thank you for watching as well. We will be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, reading Koku no Hito, aka The Climber, volumes 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 31 with my lady Gabriella. We hope that you guys can all join us for that, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye! 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 Bye-bye!
Wink, wink, wink.
Wink, 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 wink,
Winku,
wink, wink, wink.